when I die, people will take care of my funeral expenses. I do not have to leave anything behind to cover my funeral expenses, because we are misled to think that the funeral expenses are the responsibility of the Muslim community and not mine. So in many cases, we will intentionally not leave anything behind. We will put on ourselves loads of debt, and we will spend extravagantly in all sorts of things, but we will not spare a dime to cover our own funeral expenses. So this is something that is important for all of us to understand, that we ourselves are responsible for our own funeral. It will be taken care of by the people who are left behind, but we are the ones who should be concerned most about it. That when we die, do I have enough to cover my funeral expenses? Am I leaving enough behind to cover the burial expenses? If not, then we should try to make an arrangement for that. We should be concerned about that. So the first thing that will come out of the wealth or the estate is the funeral expenses. Once the funeral expenses are out, the second thing that will require the attention of the relatives is any debts. If there are any debts will always be second. First thing will be funeral expenses. The second thing that will demand the attention of executors or the relatives left behind is the debts. Did the deceased leave any debts behind? And I explained in our last session that debts are not only those loans that we take from other people. Normally we think that the loans that we take on personal basis from other people, for example, we take a loan from a friend or from a relative or from the father or from the brother or from the sister or from any other person. Normally we think that these are real loans, but the loans that we take out from our credit cards or from any other sources, conventional sources, from a conventional bank, we disregard those loans. We don't even consider those loans. We think that after the death they will be waived automatically, they will be forgiven automatically. So it is wrong to assume that. It is wrong to understand the loans in this manner, in this respect. All debts are debts. Whether it is a credit card debt or a home equity debt or another or a personal loan or an auto loan, whatever that may be, a loan is a loan, a debt is a debt. So the second thing that must be taken care of after the death of that person from his wealth is any debts that are still outstanding. Now, if the debts encompass all the wealth and estate of this person, then again there's nothing left behind for the relatives to share, because there is nothing left behind. So if the debts are so large that they encompass all the wealth of this person, then there will be nothing. Again, the burden of that will still be on the head of the deceased as long as those loans are not paid. If someone voluntarily and willingly stands up and says, I will pay the debts, I will take the responsibility of paying the debts of this person, and he does it as well, he pays those debts, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive that person. then it will be considered as taken care of. But if no one comes out and no one takes the responsibility and the lenders are still there, then this person will be held accountable before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the loans that are still outstanding, that are still unpaid. Yes?
The question regarding this matter is, say if the deceased before he died, say filed bankruptcy, according to the law, for example, as a state, just relieve him for all the debt according to the law. What is his relationship with the law?
If he's relieved by the law, then that's fine. Okay. But no one can cheat the law. You know better how to cheat the law, because some people they will hide assets in other places. They just file bankruptcy just to get rid of the loans that they have on their head. But they will have assets, or they probably have assets to pay off those loans. So that person, that issue is between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Allah asks him, did you have the ability to repay that loan? He will not be able to lie. He will not be able to say, oh Allah, I did not. Because Allah will remind him, you had this much money in that account, you had this much money with that person. This is what many people do. People will intentionally file for bankruptcy, and before they will file for bankruptcy, they will take out all the money and they will give it to a friend or give it to someone. So obviously the law enforcement or the justice department will not be able to track where did that money go. They will not be able to question, they do not question that, okay, where did this money go? They will only look at what you have. So you may be able to hide from the people, but you will never be able to hide from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is one thing. So when the debts are paid off, and if there is anything left behind, then the inheritance, then the distribution will take place. And after that, if this person had made any wills, any bequests, then only those bequests will be applicable in 1/3 of his entire state. If the bequests are for more than 1/3 of his wealth, then only 1/3 of that wealth will be used to cover the bequest and wills, not more than that. Unless all the adult heirs and heiresses, they agree that yes, we will allow the wealth to be distributed in bequests and wills, even if it is more than 1/3, then it is possible. But other than that, it is not permissible. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also mentioned in one hadith, "Inna Allah a'ta kulla dhi haqqin haqqahu, fala wasiyyata liwarith." Allah has given the share of each rightful recipient to the description that is made in the Quran and in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So after that distribution, فَلَا وَصِيَّةَ لِوَارِثٍ, there is no right of making a bequest in favor of an heir or an heiress. So the people who already have a share, the son has a share, the daughter has a share, the father has a share, the mother has a share. These people already have a share. The husband has a share and the wife has a share. So when these people already have a share in the Quran and the Hadith, Allah has already given them share. Now the person cannot make a will in favor of any of these people. Before the description of each share, it was permissible. In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had mentioned, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمْ إِذَا حَضَرَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتِ إِن تَرَكَ خَيْرًا الْوَصِيَّةِ لِلْوَالِدَيْنِ وَالْأَقْرَبِينَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, that when the death has approached to one of you, then it is incumbent upon you, it is necessary upon you to make a will in regard to your wealth for your parents and for your close relatives on equitable terms. So it was necessary at that time. But then this ayah was revealed before the revelation of these ayahs.